Yesterday, a stunning report was released by the Pew Research Center finding that the U.S. birth rate dropped to its, quote, lowest ever recorded last year to 63.2 births per 1,000 women of childbearing age. To put that into perspective, during the baby boom years, the birth rate reached a high of about 123 births per 1,000 women. So why the decline? According to the Pew report, it was due to a 14% drop in the birth rate among foreign-born women, which is, quote, more than it had declined over the entire 1990 to 2007 period. Among Mexican immigrant women, the rate dropped by a whopping 23%. The thing about a low birth rate is that it's really bad for the economy. It leads to too many older people and not enough young people. Luckily, there is a way to solve this problem, and it's not just a higher birth rate. It is immigration. Immigration can be a difficult fix, of course, if nobody wants to come to your country, or if, like Japan, you're not willing to let anyone into your country. But if you are the United States of America, you are in luck, because everybody wants to come to you. Which brings us to today. The House voted and passed a jobs bill. I repeat, because that's important. The House passed a jobs bill today, and it was based on one of Mitt Romney's best ideas in the entire campaign.
I also think that we should give visas to people, green cards rather, to people who graduate with skills that we need. People around the world with accredited degrees in science and math get a green card stapled to their diploma. Come to the US of A.
But don't get too excited. The STEM Jobs Act would give visas to 55,000 immigrants who receive advanced degrees in STEM fields, that is science, technology, engineering, or math, STEM, from an American school. The problem with this bill, which, by the way, only 27 Democrats supported, is that it would eliminate 55,000 visas from the diversity visa program. The diversity visa program is basically a lottery system designed to provide immigrants from areas with low immigration rates with the chance to come to America. Democratic Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren of California represents Silicon Valley. They are the prime beneficiary, arguably, of more high-skilled immigration. She is not a fan of this bill. She said this give-and-take approach to immigration is like a, quote, Grover Norquist-style pledge. They, Republicans, have essentially signed with anti-immigrant groups to never create a green card for an immigrant without taking one away from someone else. The House STEM Jobs Act is not expected to pass in the Senate, particularly since Democratic Senator Charles Schumer and Chris Coons introduced a STEM bill that adds visas without eliminating the diversity visa program. On Wednesday, the Obama administration said it would not support the House bill. But one little change could do it. At a moment when the birth rate is falling, when we know we need more young workers to support a rapidly aging population, we could just let more immigrants in, more immigrants total. It would be good for the economy. It would be good not for nothing for the immigrants. There's no reason to make immigration a zero-sum game, not in America, particularly not when our birth rate is dropping. The fact that people want to come here, that is one of our greatest strengths. We should use it. Joining me now, MSNBC contributor Victoria De Francesco Soto. It's very nice to have you here this evening.
Thank you, Ezra.
In your piece for NBC Latino, you wrote, the removal of this class of visas puts us on a dangerous slippery slope towards a restrictive, racially and ethnically based quota immigration system such as those in place for half of the 20th century. Could you expand a bit on the history there?
Sure. Regrettably, we have a bit of a dark history in terms of immigration and excluding people who we deem desirable and undesirable. So starting with the Chinese Exclusion Act, the Gentleman's Agreement, excluding Japanese Americans, and then getting into the 1920s, we had the national origins quotas, where you started to see an outright exclusion of Southern and Eastern Europeans. So all of these folks deemed not mentally and cognitively and morally fit to be in this country. So we're seeing these are folks we want to let in, and these are folks that we don't want to let in. And we're seeing that with the STEM Jobs Act, and it's just eerily reminiscent. And what we know is that there's room. We are on the brink of a population crisis, and not only in terms of the decreased birth rates, but last year we saw net migration from Mexico, the largest sending country, go down to zero. So we're going down in terms of our birth rate, and immigration is stalling. What is going to happen to this country? We need our population growth, and it doesn't look like the Republicans are going to want to play ball. If they keep putting forward propositions such as the STEM Act, we're not going to have any advancement on this issue. We need comprehensive immigration reform.
There are different reasons that we give in our different immigration bills for immigration. So in your view, is there a tension between directing immigration towards our economic needs by bringing in STEM folks and towards reuniting families and towards assuring global representation? Do these things have to be kind of pit against each other?
Absolutely not, Ezra. They're not mutually exclusive. You know, we absolutely need high-tech skilled workers, but we also need people in the low-skilled jobs. We need folks who will do those janitorial services, who do those folks that the higher skilled folks, because in the U.S., our educational rates are at such a level where folks are not going to be filling those jobs. So we need folks to fill all sorts of jobs, and it should not be mutually exclusive.
Victoria De Francesco Soto, thank you so much for joining me here on a Friday night.
Good evening.
Up next, the best idea anybody in politics has come up with in a long, long time.